Well, he's talking to her. Never mind. Let's bring her on right now. The analyst, providing all kinds of color, pretty colors for your Sacramento Kings. Kayte Christensen. Good morning, Kayte.
Good morning, David.
Good to talk to you for the very first time this morning.
Do I sound a little better than when you woke me up at 7:40 this morning?
Well,
how rude.
I did my imitation
5 minutes before my alarm went off.
I did an imitation that I thought I was trying to be nice. So I did. I did mention that I had called you. I said I called you because I was worried you'd been a little under the weather. Not like G-Man, by the way. My goodness, but.
Oh, I know. No, I'm feeling. I was a little under the weather when we left, but I'm feeling much better. But yeah, poor G-Man. I'm loading him up with tea and lozenges. That poor guy.
I wanted to just make sure and give you an out in case, late flight. Wanted to make sure you were going to come on, so I called you 15 minutes prior, and I explained to the audience that the phone rang, and all I heard was 20. And all I heard was,
yeah. That is not at all what. Oh my God! Talk about over dramatization.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. Do you say bite of the cherry instead of bite of the apple? This is a controversy going on the text line right now.
What are they suggesting?
Bite at the cherry.
A bite at the cherry?
Yeah.
Is that a Katieism or is that a real thing?
No, that's a real thing.
Because you have some altruism.
You gave them no. I mean, this is something that has been used like on every team I've ever been on. Like, you can't give them 3 bites of the cherry.
Isn't the cherry something you consume in one bite?
Yeah, it's just one bite. Who takes 3 bites off?
I didn't make it up.
What was the other thing you said? I don't even know if this is airworthy. So stop me. It was something about us.
Is this why you brought me on?
No.
Talk about things that I say on live TV when things happen instantly and you're just expected to be perfect.
I'm answering the people want to know. They love you.
I'm just clarifying.
Is this something too about a horse? Something about a horse. We were arguing about this like 3 months ago. You and I. It was something you picked up on the farm about you can't. Something with the horse. Is something horse?
I haven't said that this season, but it's barn foundered.
What?
It's called barn foundered. Like when it's like say a great basketball example of it. It's like the end of the road trip and you just want to get back home. So barn foundered with a horse. It's like when you've been out working all day on the horse and you're on your way home and they see the barn and they just take off. Like they just want to get home.
Oh. Okay. Well, can't light a porcupine on fire and throw it in the barn and call it licorice, right? I don't know. Kayte, is it just...
You want to talk about basketball?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you,
okay.
And then I was going to let Jason be a pro and ask real questions. We both don't like the low-hanging fruit of refereeing. I know as an ex-player, you don't like that either, and that it's real easy to hang on the refs, but are we incorrect that it just seems that almost every other game the refs are missing multiple really bad calls?
I'm assuming you're talking about the foul
about Clarkson and Markkanen.
And then Markkanen,
yeah.
Yes. And I've been awake all of 20 minutes now, so I haven't checked the last 2-minute report.
It's not out yet.
Okay, good. Yeah. They're not awake yet either, Dave. Anyway, I think, first of all, I will say that officials have an incredibly difficult job.
Yes.
Because there's things that we have to watch multiple times on a replay to get right, to see what actually happened. And more times than not, they make the right call. Like, even if it's 80%, they're way better than I could ever, imagine to be. And, they're humans as well. They make mistakes. It's hard to see everything. Angles matter, all that stuff. But I also feel like to a certain degree, the Kings have a little bit of a hill to climb when it comes to kind of earning the benefit of the doubt, especially when it comes on the defensive end, because to be honest, they haven't been a great defensive team for several years. So, I watched that entire Atlanta Golden State game last night on the way back on the plane. And I mean, what Klay Thompson gets away with defensively is astronomical, And so I think part of it is reputation. Part of it is what have you done, success. And I hope that changes, over time, but it can be really frustrating. And I understand from a player perspective, it can be understanding, and from a fan perspective, man, it's infuriating. So yeah, there was a couple big ones last night.
Kayte, building a reputation is what De'Aaron Fox is doing in the late games. Last night's fourth quarter, just the levels of domination that he had as far as 9 of 10. He hit a three, he had free throws, his mid-range, and then he got to the basket. But it felt like, Kayte, he got everything he wanted from Utah in a sense where he got the switch he wanted. He forced them into doing things maybe they weren't doing all game. I know you called it last night, but his fourth quarter was brilliant on so many levels, in my opinion. What did you think of what you saw from him?
It was, and really, it built through the game, right? Like I think if memory serves on the stat sheet, the first quarter stat sheet, he had 1 point. I think he had hit a free throw, but he was 0 of 1 from the field. And then the game really built for him. And in the fourth quarter, I think what was really spectacular about him is that he was able to just knock down these shots that you kind of scratch your head, like, how in the world does he continue to get them? He had that 1 Euro step where he went out, then in, then back to the left side, and he's so fast. And then he now has the ability to go in super slow motion, right? And I think, and I said it on the broadcast, that is the biggest improvement from his rookie year to this season, is his ability to use his speed and then change up like his speed and kind of, it's not just about going 100% all the time. It's a change of pace. And he has that. And because of that, his speed paired with being able to change pace, he gets these shots that, you're sitting here going like, oh my God, I can't believe it feels like he can get anything he wants. And he has said that this year. But what I thought was really, really interesting about the fourth quarter last night, you guys, is it had 3 straight plays of back-to-backs. It was the same exact play. First, it was Domas kind of on the right high elbow, like a step off the elbow, and it was a backdoor to De'Aaron Fox on the right side, layup. Next play down, same play, backdoor, and it was that spectacular catch by Keegan Murray, and it was the and one where he tipped it in, gets fouled, 3-point play. And then the next play, it was Kevin Huerter, and it was the same play. And I think because of how they dismantled them defensively with that backdoor cut by raising everyone up and opening up that key and really creating a ton of space, they were so worried about it. But De'Aaron ended up getting like 3 shots where there was no one in sight. And he kind of hesitated on the first one. It was a left elbow jumper. And he kind of got in the paint and no one was there. They were so concerned about the backdoor cutting. And he had like 3 shots in the fourth quarter where there wasn't any defense around him. And he knocked every single one of them down. But he is just playing at a level. And I found it interesting that, last night, Coach Brown said he's just scratching the surface. And I believe that. I do believe that he is just kind of scratching the surface of his all-star level play. And Coach Brown also talked about, like, he waved me off multiple times in the fourth quarter. And I think sometimes, we can hear that and it sounds like, oh, he's not listening to his coach for play calls. But Coach Brown gives him that ability to wave him off at any time because he trusts him to see what's going on the floor, to anticipate, to make plays for himself, but also to make plays for others. And I think that was maybe the highest compliment he could have gotten, is the fact that, he's seeing the game at such a level right now, and not just for himself, but for other people, that he has the faith of his coach to just make play calls down the stretch.
Kayte Christensen with us. By the way, speaking of refs, should make everybody feel better that Utah, there's a huge controversy in Utah. They think the refs screwed them multiple times during the game, and they think that there should have been 0.6 left on the clock instead of 0.4, and they're doing like instant replays and freeze frames and all that just to kind of show you perspective. Kayte, we'll finish with this. Did you think Domantas Sabonis was this good?
Did I think that what?
Did you think Domantas Sabonis was going to be this good?
Oh, did I think he was going to be this good? I knew he was really good. I will be honest and say I had no idea that he was going to be at this level. And it's kind of wild because, you cover someone and even though he was in Indiana and you only get him twice a year, you watch all kinds of games. And I feel like whether it's the system or the players around him, like this is just a really great fit for him. And he has a ton of freedom. And really, like, what I think I'm most impressed with is his IQ. And it's wild because I think back to when Rick Carlisle was here before, we played them, and he paid him just the most massive compliment I think I've ever heard a coach pay a player. He talked about his IQ, and he went down the list of players that he compared him to, guys that he played with when he was in the league. Larry Bird, Luka. He said he's talking about there's guys that are smart, and there's guys that have a high basketball IQ, and there's guys that are like savants when it comes to basketball. And he called him a basketball savant. And you know what? He's kind of proven to all of us now that have had the pleasure of watching him, since he got here in February last year, that he is just, he's at another level. He's like superhuman.
Well, you're superhuman, Kayte, and she joins us each and every Wednesday at 8:00. Not against battling illness, but you're superhuman in every other way. So we appreciate you.
Oh, goodness.
Hey, Kayte. Hey, now that you're back home from the road trip, I know you got a game tonight. Maybe take it easy this afternoon. What do you think?
I got to pick up my little. Come on now.
Yeah. Okay.
Come on now. Busy. You know this life.
All right. Have a good call tonight. Thank you, dear.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. All right. That's Kayte Christensen. And Jason, we want to get to Wine Wednesday here, but even more than wanting to get to Wine Wednesday, we want to hear from you.
Yeah, we do, because all guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Now, what are we going to take a quick break here? And by quick break,